there, Internet. I'm back. Had a little dinner. Had some pilaf rice and chicken tikka masala that my wife Ange made. Num num num. Tasty, so tasty. So I'm going to work on. There we go. Just getting some correspondence with someone I was chatting with about their work. And a little bit of feedback. Just pausing my YouTube for a second. So I'm going to do some drawing here. I'm going to bring that's right, I was going to bring the chat up. Do that now. Get that up in front of me. So I will see it. And I guess I should... No, I'm going to share it later. So we'll see. Is there a link for me to see again? New channel. Yeah, so it's there. Kill this out. I want that to feedback. So I have the chat up. I can see if anyone wants to say hello, give a question. The art that I'm going to be working on is from my memoir. Oops. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, I want to pull that back to here. Oh. That's right. So, use the mask. Nice. So, I've got barn. Here, I'll show you what I've got here so far. So, this page. These are thumbnails I did in my sketchbook for part of A Bastard's Tale. There's me in a back of a wagon. There's a barn with a moon. It's going to be a corn roast pot. The red marks here are about it's going to be like a giant pot on a fire. And then this is a look inside the corn floating in the water. Getting cooked. Memories. Going to a harvest event at a farm outside Toronto. And so I'm drawing it in layers, animation style, which is something that I do sometimes, even when I'm working on paper. I'll do sketches on different pieces of paper, scan them in, and assemble them in Photoshop. And for this kind of work, I'm compositing a lot of the pages in a similar manner, even when I'm just initially drawing them. So I've got my barn, I've got a mask for that, I have the trees, and a mask pulling them out, and then I have, let's get rid of this for a second, my night sky is a combination of that, which is digital paint, and a moon, which has its own, oops, that's the big old moon. Moon has its own layer. And some clouds I painted. And then I created a burn-in for the stars, which I wanted to get recognizable star patterns. So I took an actual northern winter sky and messed with the contrast to reduce the number of stars at the city and made it just a black and white image. And I'm burning that through to get my star field, which if someone knows their stars, well, they'll know. They'll know. I'd even tried to find the time of year and the year for when this is happening, but I wasn't able to do that. So it's as close as I can get. That was the first moon, but I like this one better. Okay, so let's turn our mask back on. I'm going to make a new layer. And initially, I also want to make this mask translucent because I need to see through the barn. So, doing onion skinning. And I think let's go back to our blues. Oh, you know what? I want to use, I frequently use an orange. I find that works very well too. Not entirely sure why I change MG for midground. That changes for me. Which works better? Which color? Old bell-bottom corduroys, kids, because this would be late 70s, I think, early 80s. Actually, it's probably more like early 80s. Yeah, early 80s. Which also means baggy pullover sweater. I think I was wearing a lot of oversized sweaters and looking a little more gangly. And the hair was starting to get wavier. Short sometimes too, but I think I'm going to stick to getting longer because I did that a lot. And that makes for slightly simpler visual narrative as I change in age. Make the character of me easier to follow as I change through the pages. It's going to need to be wider. It's too short. Yeah, much better. More like that. If I recall correctly, this wagon was actually an old truck bed, like they'd separated the back of a truck from its cab section where the engine was. It had two sets of unconnected old truck axles. So what I'm drawing here is the shape. A little reminder for myself, it's a truck axle. That'll actually be a lot wider as well, because I got the portions off in my first sketch. I know there was a big, deep back bumper fender thingy. and a hitch, so I could run a train of these. I think I won't bother looking up. If I wanted to be authoritative and accurate, I would check out what the chassis structure down here looks like, but this is more an emulation of my memory than an attempt to be factual, so I'm going to intentionally handicap myself in that department and not check the work and do the reference. You know, again, like I was saying in the last video, there's nothing wrong with using reference, but there are times and places where it is either a constraint to not use it, as is the case here, or it can be an issue, a handicap, if you lean too heavily on and rely on it. It's also like just generally as a productivity handicap, if you become so dependent on reference that you get anxious without it and basically can't do the thing, which happens for some people, well then obviously that's not healthy. That's not where you want to be. As an artist, I don't mean like it's going to make you sick physically necessarily, although the anxiety certainly might. And your stress isn't going to be good for you. Yeah, there we go. It's feeling more like it. And then there's going to be some adults. Taller. Yeah, there we go. Another kid, another adult. I think there would be more people there, but I want to leave it empty so we can see things. So let's make that layer a poppy red because it'll help it come forward in my compositional work here, if I can see it. So now I'm going to make a new layer behind it, in between the barn. So BG2, and I feel like now that I've done it, I want to relocate this, looking at the way the hill works. Yeah. Although those wheels, I think, you know, what's part of the problem is those wheels are just too high up close to the chassis. I think it rode higher up. Yeah, that's what it was. Intuitively, that feels more like how I remember it. Again, so like that's not, I don't really care if it's accurate. It's more like I care if it feels like the way it did when I experienced it, which is, you know, it's a flawed reconstruction in my mind. That's how memory works. You don't really remember literally. You remember reconception of it. But yeah, there we go. And then that's got its own road. This is going to blend into the corn, but I think I will want to scale this. Yeah. Still big foreground, but that was too big. That's part of the problem. It's making the barn seem small. So let's go to BG2, and I want to make it a mid-tone. cornfield we're going by. I think I might, in my next pass, I could pull up reference for the corn, but I also feel like maybe this is going to be unrealistic, kind of impressionistic take on a cornfield, in which case I may in fact not pull up the reference and want to leave it uncorrected. And now I want my pot for the fire. There's like a barbecue on the side of I think that's what I recall, is like a big platform that had a bonfire underneath it, and on one side they were using the heat to barbecue, and then there was a giant canister thing full of water with a set of stairs walking up to a platform to get high enough so that someone could get up there and stir it and pull corn out to serve. And this thing was full of corn. There's someone cooking here. These are just little gestures. Someone coming with a bin full of corn. Walking. The cornfield goes all the way back here. It has some, I don't really, there's chicken coops, so I think I want to put them in behind. I remember there being chickens around. I think, I don't have words in here, but I think I want to put or call a classic pinwheel style windmill, like a water pump or something. So this is like roughly equivalent to pencil drawings, what I'm doing right now. Over the thumbnails, which were those first pass images that I got underneath. And of course, again, once I have enough of this down, I'll lighten it all to set it back. And again, go in for the final pass on things. Looking to match the angles we see over there. Get some dormers in here. So some sort of house on the other side of. This is just stuff I'm kind of improvising and making up on the fly. Give it a kind of heavy stone chimney, slightly asymmetrical roof line. Yeah. Now, let's do one more. I'm going to make it a deep green. And just get another pass at these corn and possibly adjust them as well. Partially what I'm doing right now, even though I'm kind of working really fast, it's because I want to create a layer that I can easily edit, but I also want to like re-familiarize myself with the story. I did the thumbnails that I'm working over here quite a long time ago, like years. So the process of going over them even really quickly like this, it does both things for me. It makes a layer that I can now manipulate and scale and work, because I know, for one thing, for example, I want to see the wall of this container in the shot. So I don't need this anymore. And I want to draw the outer contour and top edge. I'm doing them, see how the spacing over here is, from here to here, is much longer and here is shorter, so it's a fudged perspective. I'm partially using just like the way it feels to my eye, and that's kind of the reason I've got many passes, many iterations just there. I'm looking for the mark that feels like it's in the right place, and then I cut back and reduce down. And now I can go in and add some more corn. And yeah, it's going to overlap. So when I do the final version 2, I'm going to draw the sketch, drawing, painting, I'm not sure whatever kind of media I'm going to emulate on a separate layer so I can blend them interestingly. Because this layer is going to have its own, it's going to pass through as well. And I think I want to put some foreground in here. It's coming right up to the water's edge. Something needs to be there. What? Picnic tables. Because that was a thing. There were picnic tables we ate at. You know, the placement, of course, is I'm kind of contriving. I don't remember it that well. But I can use elements. No, that's not right. But what I should just do, now that I've got one, here's the easy thing. Copy, paste. I think this one will go back. Oops. Yeah. So, I've got the page blocked out. How much time is that I've recorded online? Oh, like way half an hour. Good. All right. I like where that's at. Everything needs to get a lot lighter. There we go. Okay. But I think the barn, I can finish on the barn. Let's just go there. For those who are new to the channel, this is art for A Bastard's Tale, which is a memoir project. Because it's in part being told through and is thus about the fallible nature of memory, I'm pretty intentionally drawing it in a fairly loose, sketchy style. As you can see, I still do a fair bit of developing to build up the page and compose things and design things. But the finish is going to stay, as much as I'm able, fairly loose. Though I find I still bring a lot of detail to work like this. Comparatively speaking to what some people consider to be loose. Save there. Still think Clip Studio could do with making a smoother autosave. It didn't sort of just freeze everything up while it was happening. That would be nice. If you guys listen. Maybe it's impossible. I don't know. I'm not a coder. I did do a little bit of like computer camp and stuff, and I don't know, I think I got into my head, sort of incidentally, considering what I was talking about in my earlier process pod stream, that because I was dyslexic that I was unable to do the kind of language processing that informs coding. It seemed daunting and possibly beyond my means, but I don't think that's true. That was a lie I got tricked into telling myself. And that's okay. I could do some coding, and by okay I mean like, you know, I've moved on. I accept these things. I can do some open book coding where I actually have, like, you know, the cheat sheets open in front of me. That roof line does not line up. Interesting. Let's fix that. Comes down to here. Okay, let's go to a thinner line. Trace in some more mechanically true marks to mix with my sketchy marks, because I want to blend it with the tighter bits that have happened on this page, and go and do some sketching with the tighter bits too, so that they both have elements of both control and looseness. Wrong side. Okay. So that's out here. What I want to do is go back to the mask here and flesh that out. In fact, barn mask. This should be on the barn mask layer. Yeah, it's on a full opacity. Good. I can always go back and fill this in more accurately later, but initially I want to leave it a little loose and scribbly, painterly feeling, because as the layers layer up, that's an element I want to maintain. Don't want it to get too technically polished. Especially this, which is sort of a background element and not super critical. So it can stay fairly sketchy. As a matter of like depth and focus. Well, it's almost an hour of working. So I need to stretch my legs. Chat's quiet this week. Hope you're all doing well. I look forward to winter coming in and change in the spring. Keep this loose. Gonna do something textural. The final finish on this page. Okay. Time to stretch my legs. Let's see. Gonna renew the page, refresh the page, see if anything's happening. Still watching. 2 people are watching. Someone likes me. That's nice. Oh. Yeah. It's almost midnight here in Montreal. Time to chill out, relax. Might do a little more work. Might go to bed. Probably won't turn the camera on again though. That's good enough for today. I hope you're all well. Remember, you can still sign up to my Patreon. I'm not taking payments right now. I think you might pay the first time you pledge, but for that, after that, for I don't know, at least 6 months or so, I'm not going to be taking payments on Patreon. But you can still read all my comics and get notified when I post these videos there, and ask questions and check out the student patron posts where there's lots of tutorial material that most people have access to. The only thing that comes as a bonus as a student patron is the ability to send me your homework. Not taking payments right now, so I'm not doing that at the moment, but you can check out the posts and learn all those things and do the work on your own. If you post your stuff to social media and tag me, I might just give you a few notes. Yep. Patreon.com/Salgood. You could also go to I think it's, let me just check, it's all in the thing. Do we do? Yes. So you'll find my Gumroad link and the description text. That'll get you digital copies of my books, just so you can buy them outright. Also, you can order print copies. SalgoodSam.com for my illustration portfolio and things like that. All the other things, all my social media, go to the Linktree link, and you'll see my father's photographies at the, it doesn't appear to be a live link, the ItalianMachine.spildinct.org. That's an archive of my dad's work. All right, thanks for watching if you have been, and I'll see you all around about the internets.